Although agriculture is the core business of Sandstone Estates, it's another aspect that has made this remote corner of South Africa world famous. The Sandstone Heritage Trust is an independent wing of the farm, established with a mandate of preserving South Africa's agricultural and industrial heritage. The core of this initiative is the narrow gauge railway, which winds its way for 25 kilometres through the lands. The country once boasted scores of these railways, built to serve farms, sugar estates and outlying country areas. They were the lifeline that developed the rural hinterland and connected it with its markets.
All of us remember steam engines in the old days as being part of the backdrop. You might be doing something and the steam engine happens to be going past in the background, and it seemed comfortable in its environment. The true magic of that item of preservation is its ability to carry you along imagination-wise as close as possible to what it was designed to do, and perhaps to hope to imagine what it was like in its authentic surroundings.
It's the totality of the vintage experience that has been recreated at Sandstone that draws visitors from all over the world. Specialist photographic tours come to record choice narrow gauge steam imagery in pristine surroundings.
The prime ingredient is the scenery. It's the way the railway here has been laid out. It tends to follow the contours, which means it's got some fairly stiff grades, which makes for hard work of the trains. This line changes directions and goes around ponds and the edge of mountains to such a degree that the train is always working towards the light somewhere. So you can actually stay busy here all day. With all the other transport and heritage activities that take place here, if you can't enjoy a day or two in a place like this, then you're not enjoying life. And it really is as simple as that.
Civilization got to where it is today down a long, hard road, where technology of every description played a vital role. The Sandstone Heritage Trust pays homage to this technology, to the pioneers of mechanization who bequeathed their toil and their invention to the future of mankind.
We often get asked, why restore tractors, farm machinery? You know, well, this has always been an agricultural country, and a lot of people have their roots on farms. And the other day it happened to me, an old Zulu guy, a real old Kashla, came up to me and he saw my old tractor and he had tears streaming down his face. He said, hell, I haven't seen a gunda like that for so many years. And it really brought his past back to him. He was a real old guy with a stick. But it's that type of thing that makes this restoration job so rewarding.
Illustrating the broad scope of the Trust's heritage program is the relationship that Sandstone enjoys with the South African Armour Museum.
Sandstone is part and parcel of the SA Armour Museum, in a sense that when the museum was opened, Sandstone Heritage Trust was affiliated to the SA Armour Museum. Our museum is what it is now, due also to the assistance of the Sandstone Heritage Trust.
The South African Armour Museum is run under the auspices of the School of Armour and shares headquarters with them in Bloemfontein. The history of war and its vast assortment of hardware is depicted across the board, from the earliest implements of battle to the very first armoured tanks. The museum has an ongoing partnership with the Sandstone Heritage Trust to bring old military machines back to working order, with each organisation supporting the other when public displays are held.
It also is to network, and then also is to build a relationship between the museum and the Sandstone Heritage Trust. It's our unquestionable support
This magnificent Sherman tank is an example of a recent restoration project undertaken in collaboration with the Armour Museum. Proof that partnerships between the public and private sectors can work.
What has happened in the last year or so is that the Sandstone Heritage Trust, and particularly our 2-foot narrow gauge railway, has embraced a much bigger African scenario.
And in the search for African relics, countries that have been visited include Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Sierra Leone and Angola. These search and rescue operations centred on the railways, generally in a state of poor repair, though gamely hanging on to available traffic. But it was on the private railways of places like abandoned sugar estates that the narrow gauge gems were found.
It is unrealistic to expect an African country that has serious problems with unemployment and with its economy to devote money to this type of activity. And we have certainly embraced that and said to these countries, of which there's 3 ongoing at the moment, we will create a module within our narrow gauge railway which will clearly reflect what you were doing some time ago.
Many forlorn relics that would otherwise have rusted away to nothing have been rescued from remote areas and shipped back to South Africa for restoration.
What is exciting is that the possibility exists for them to be taken back. In other words, you know, an analogy in wildlife is you save the last of a species, you put them in a zoo, you breed the numbers back, and then possibly you take them back to where they came from. And I think that a lot of our future is to continue the projects that we've been busy with, saving locomotives, but over a very large geographic area.
It looks most unpromising, but at least it's safe from nature's whims and the scrap merchant's torch. Sandstone's reputation as a haven for African relics is gaining ground.
I'd not heard of them before, but suddenly there they are, restoring locomotives from a condition which, you know, was more rust and scrap metal than locomotive, bringing things from sugar estates abandoned in Angola and Mozambique, doing all these heroic rescue jobs. I mean, some of the wrecks in the sheds there that I've seen today look very tough nuts to crack, but we've seen what they can do already, and the motivation seems to be so strong. It's also new and exciting. It's great to see some success and some focus to show other people success. You know, hopefully it can be a sort of nucleus, bring encouragement to people. That's what we'd like to see.
Heritage is not only about the past. The ability to survive into the future is critical to any preservation effort. Without the continuity of successive generations, mankind striving towards development would have little point. Our heritage is there to be enjoyed by our children, to whom we owe a balanced, insightful and uplifting view of the world. Against the backdrop of the season's crop of autumn flowers, it's not difficult to believe that at Sandstone we'll be fully equipped to leave them something of lasting significance.